Hey y'all, welcome to All the Layers podcast, where we peel back all the layers, the deep, the funny, the uncomfortable, and everything in between. We are your host, Akila,
And Mattia.
and this is episode number 10, y'all. This is a milestone episode for us, so we're super excited to be at number 10, and we're going to be talking about relationships today. Okay, so let's kick it off with a very good question. Do we think that most people actually know what a healthy relationship looks like? I am gonna
No.
say no.
I think people think they know,
Yeah.
but I do feel like a lot of stuff in society is accepted that shouldn't be accepted, and
Yes.
I think a lot of people probably were raised watching, like, survival versus, like, healthy love, so I think for me, a thing that I've been seeing is that people really confuse, like, intensity with connection or, like,
Mm,
inconsistency with passion,
yeah.
and I think some people are starting to learn, like, healthy relationships can actually feel boring, they're very calm and stable and predictable, like, there are no blurred lines, but if
Yeah.
you grew up around chaos, then that can feel very, like, unfamiliar or wrong, and, yeah, I just think a lot of relationships nowadays are just very chaotic.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, I love that. That was a very good way to break it down because I do think the reason I was saying no is because I don't think many, especially when we're talking about Black people, have had that healthy relationship modeled for them in their homes, and I
Mhm.
think we repeat what we've seen, and if love looked like you said chaos, then that is what we think that love is, and that is what we then emulate. So I think that would be the reason why most people don't know what it looks like, and then to your point too, and I think we'll kinda touch on this later, but with social media, I think people get a lot of their thoughts, ideas, perspectives, values from that. And I think a lot of the things that are held up on a pedestal or like idolized, for lack of a better word, aren't healthy. And some of the practices that people are saying, like, oh, you should be doing this or whatever, just aren't healthy. So I think a lot of people are still figuring that out, especially young people and even older people too. Um, and I'm reading this book right now, y'all, because there is this guy who does amazing videos on Instagram, and I'm blanking on his name on Instagram right now. I think it's Alex, but he is, like, so good, and so I bought his book, and he was also talking about how a lot of us learn love from wounds or from, like,
Mhm.
fear, see, like you said, from survival or from trauma, and so we are learning to love not from a place of wholeness, like, we think love is connected to responsibility and all these other things, but that's not love. Like that's survival. And you're kind of dressing that up as you're devoted to somebody or you love them, but that's not what it is. And he was also talking about how love has to happen within first, and love shouldn't be something that completes you. It should reveal you and, like, show who you are when you fully love somebody. So, I don't know, I thought that was super powerful and something I wanted to bring up, so but
Yeah,
okay.
love that.
So what is one relationship lesson we've had to learn the hard way? Let me know if you want me to go first if you want to take this, because I don't have one, I got a few.
I'll go because I feel like this has just always been a recurring lesson that I've had to learn, but
Okay.
potential is just not I don't know, like, it's not a what's the word I'm looking for? Like, it's not a personality trait. When I think that I had to learn that the hard way because I wasn't actually liking people, I was liking my interpretation of them, like,
Mm,
their potential or, like, what they almost were, like, if they just healed a little more, then they'd be like this,
right.
and I think what that really said about me was I was more comfortable investing in someone who could become something versus accepting who they've consistently showed me that they are, and
Mm,
yeah, I just think potential can be really ooh, it could just it gets you, and it lets
ooh,
you be staying hopeful and stuff, and you just be tolerating so much and overextending just to feel like your love and maybe that's what it is, maybe I felt like because we talk about our savior complexes a lot, right?
Yes,
I
yes.
think deep down, I maybe wanted to feel like my love was a part of somebody else's growth story. Um,
Ooh.
and yeah, I think at some point I had to be like, "Hey, mm-mm, like that's not your circus. That's not your responsibility. You're not this man's mother."
Okay, that part. He got a mama, and if she didn't do what she was
Exactly.
supposed to do, it's not my
Where your mama at?
responsibility to do that now. No, that's good. I'm snapping on all that because you articulated that beautifully. Because I too have struggled with the potential thing. I always see the potential and greatness in a person, even when they don't see it in themselves, and so I think that's what causes me to kinda hold on or wait out and be like, "Okay, maybe they'll get there." Like, "No, girl. What have they shown you?"
Yeah, I be out here thinking I'm some type of basketball coach or something, like, we is
No,
not
but for
finna
real.
we is not finna pull this out of you, like, you need to show me at tryouts. It needs to be on board.
Okay? No, yeah, no. 100% agree with that. I think to add to that, to really build upon that is that I had to let myself know that I can't change someone. Like, I can't change
Mm,
someone, I can't fix someone. I am not going to make someone get ready or become the person that they could be potentially, right? Or that I want them to be. Like, they have to be that person. That's not, like you said, one, it's not my responsibility, and it's not smart to wait around for that to happen. You're not gonna make somebody get ready. The only thing that's gonna make them get ready is them, and if they want to get ready, right? And so, yeah, I think that's a big thing that I had to learn, because I think I used to think that I could change somebody or I could make them want to be ready for me or whatever, and it's like, "No," or make them want to reach their potential, and again, no. If they ain't there, they haven't met themselves that deeply and done the work, then sorry, girl, you gotta look. Um,
hello.
and then the other thing I am, and this is something, y'all, again, another plug for Change Church. But this is something that the pastor kinda talked about today, but I had to learn too, like, I think I was kinda going into relationship, and I shouldn't say relationships because literally, y'all, the relationship that I'm in now is my first actual, like, real relationship officially, right? But I've obviously talked to people and been in the talking stage or had situationships or whatever. Um, but I think I was kinda going into relationships a little green, because I was young,
Mm,
and when I say green, I'm saying, like, I didn't really think about the fact that, like, some people didn't grow up like you, and some people didn't experience love that you the way that you did, so they're not gonna show up in the way that you show up sometimes.
mhm,
And I think because I used to get hurt a lot because that was the case, like, people didn't show up how I did, or they didn't love like I did, or they didn't know how to, I would often think, "Oh, they're just, like, a bad person because they hurt me," right? Or, like, I would be really upset about that, but that doesn't necessarily mean that, they are a bad person. It also doesn't mean that they didn't love me, or care about me, but some people are genuinely just out for themselves, and they may have been taught love from a place of trauma, or taught that love is connected to, like I was saying, like responsibility, or love is connected to what somebody can do for you or whatever based on what they've seen. So they don't, or they didn't have the ability to think about how things impacted me, right? Like they might have dealt with me because they saw that I was a good person, but they weren't leading with their love for me or their care for me. They're leading with what they want and what they can get out of the situation. And because they haven't mentally worked through all this stuff, they can't think about like, oh, this might hurt her, this might do this. And so I think
mm,
what the pastor was saying is like some people just literally don't have the capacity to lead with their love for you, but instead they lead with what they want and what they're trying to get out of something. But that again doesn't make them a bad person. That doesn't mean that they don't love you. So yeah, I that's something that I have had to learn the hard way for sure. And then two more things. I think the other thing is some people do just wanna keep you around, but don't wanna fully commit. Some people are really selfish in that way, to kinda expand on the point I just made earlier, and I don't think necessarily their intent is to hurt, but people just, like when people know you're a good person, they will really be like, "Okay, I just wanna keep them to myself, like, Imma keep them here while I work on myself and, like, mess up and all this," and you can't stay for that, like, you gotta you don't need to stay for that. You really don't, because I used to do that, like, "Okay, I know they don't wanna commit. They done told me they don't wanna commit and they not ready, but because they see my worth and feel like I'm a good person and wanna keep me around, Imma stay here. No, no, no. I had to cut that out because, again, not good. Um, and yeah, some people I think I already said this, but just some people haven't met themselves deep enough or done the work to be in a position for you to be trying to be with them. So, yeah.
Amen.
Okay, let's kinda talk about what we think love is. What do we think love is? Or what do we think love looks like?
Still trying to
Well,
figure that out. No, I'm just playing.
no, I mean, that's valid.
Um, gosh, I for me, I feel like love is less about feeling maybe and more about the patterns people show you. Like I think the feelings matter, but I also think feelings come and go. And I think what
Mm,
actually defines love is how someone consistently shows up for you over time. I
mm,
also think for me, love looks like being considered. I love being considered, not just cared about in like, theory, but somebody giving me effort without me having to beg for it, like, communication that's not leaving me, again, with those blurred lines, and then just feeling like a emotional safety where I'm not, like,
mm,
constantly questioning where I stand with somebody. And I don't think, like,
mm,
it's perfect. I don't think anything's perfect, but I think it should be, like, steady. Like, I do feel like a lot of times I was like, "Oh, this is love," but it would be, like, up, down, like, it would be high highs and low lows, and
oh,
it'd just be,
yeah,
like, this, and I feel like we need to be steady and maybe 1 or 2 little drops, and then we gotta keep going on
yeah,
steady. So, yeah, I think it should be grounding and not super consuming. Like,
mm,
I don't wanna be anxious all over the place, constantly overthinking. I need clarity. I need to know exactly how you feel about me, know that you're choosing me every day,
yeah.
and seeing that your actions are matching that.
I
So
love that. I don't even think I need to go. I was just gonna add, and you ended up saying it. Like you said, it's less about the feeling. Like it is a feeling, right? But it's more about the intentional choice. And you said
mhm,
that. Like I do think it's a choice to show up every single day, and give that person what they deserve. And I think love looks like being a very like patient person. And I think it's also I don't know, like, I think you really have to care about the person that you are with and be invested in their, like, growth and development and wanting them to be the best person they can be, but also you trying to be the best person you can be for yourself, but also for them. Like, I think
mhm,
that is a lot of what love is too. And yeah, and then the other big thing, like, I'm not gonna add too much because you laid that out beautifully, but the other thing is I think it's unconditional. Like, no matter what is happening, what shifts, what changes, no matter if somebody, was rich and now they broke. Like, I feel like love is that constant. It's supposed to be that constant and it shouldn't change based on things that, may be conditional, right?
mhm,
So, yeah, I think it's an unconditional thing.
period.
Yeah. Okay. Let's talk chemistry. Do we think chemistry is overrated?
I don't even know what chemistry like, I don't even know what that means. Imma be real.
Okay,
Like,
let's pull up a
define it for
definition
me.
for you. Yeah, let's pull up a definition for you so that I'm gonna just pull it off of Google. I should probably go into a dictionary, but it says that chemistry is an intense, often immediate emotional and physical attraction between two people characterized by a spark, effortless connection, and mutual fascination. So it's like a natural magnet.
Mm, when you define it that way, then yeah, probably. 'Cause is that chemistry or is that infatuation? Like, I don't
Yeah, no, I can s that's what I'm saying, I think it kinda yeah, I think it sounds like infatuation when you read it, but it says it's, like, combining intellectual, physical, and emotional, like, you resonate with somebody on all those levels or through all those things, it's
then it's
not
probably a
just
little underrated when you put intellectualism in there, cause these niggas ain't smart.
Girl, and it says feelings of excitement, safety, and safety is not overrated, right? Like, that is much needed in a
Okay, well,
relationship and deep curiosity about the person. I don't know, I don't think it's overrated. However, because to me, that kinda sounds like, I don't know, chemistry to me also, we hear this word a lot, but, like, soulmate, I feel like your soulmate you would have really deep chemistry with. But I don't think that because you have chemistry with the person that that's always the person that you're meant to be with. I don't even think everybody always ends
Mm,
up with their soulmate. And that's just I don't know.
say more.
I don't. Cause people have said this before, but I think soulmate your friends could be your soulmates.
Correct, yeah, sure.
So, yeah, I just don't think that you always end up with that person. Cause again, we're talking like and I don't wanna call it infatuation, but I think you could have this kind of connection or alignment with somebody and that just not be the person that you end up with. I don't think that that means that you couldn't because I think you could still love and be in love with somebody else, but I don't know. That's just my thought on it. Yeah, that's my say more. I know that I didn't say much, but yeah.
No, that makes sense, I agree.
Yeah.
I never thought about that, but yeah.
Let's talk about relationships that we've had, if we've had any, that felt intense but weren't actually healthy. I know for sure I done been in a few situationships that felt very intense, but weren't actually healthy. And the intensity was like conflict. I felt like the intensity was conflict, heavy emotion, the crying, the arguing, the fighting, the like, and literally not fighting. Like I've never fought somebody. Let me clear that up. But just conflict. Nobody's ever fought me,
Mhm.
thankfully. But yeah, I think that yes, like you kind of touched on this earlier, Mattia, but yeah, stuff can feel intense and it can feel like you're exerting a lot of yourself and you care so much and you're going through all these things, but that does not mean that it's healthy. And I think people sometimes, like you said, the chaos of that, like people are like, if I didn't love them, I wouldn't be doing all this. But it's like, no, 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 no. That may be true, right? But that doesn't mean it's healthy.
Yeah.
And your love shouldn't show up that way. Like love should be we're sitting here listening to each other. We don't raise our voices at one another. We can work through conflict in a mature way and see each other's points of view and say, okay, I heard you say this, babe. I feel like you're missing this, or I feel like you're saying that you need this. Now, what can I do to make sure that you get that? Or what can we do to get on the same page? Like that again, but that feels maybe boring, like you were saying. But yeah, intensity. I personally do not want intensity in a relationship after the step out of y'all. No, thank you.
Lord,
I
but
don't.
yeah, no, I agree. I've definitely had experiences where something felt really intense, and yeah, that was something I had to, like, grow through because you be, like, thinking that feeling so drawn to somebody and, like, always thinking about them and, like, all this
Um,
other stuff is, like, good things, and it's just like, I should not be consumed by this person that much, like, I hate that shit. Ew, like, I
that's
just
infatuation, though, right? Like, isn't that more of a
it is, but it's like, you know what I mean. I don't know if you know what I mean. Just like, like you're always thinking about them, you always waiting for them to call you and text you and
yeah?
like all
It's
this
like
thing.
when
And
Lotto said that, like, it's always on my mind. My man, my man, my man. Like, no, girl, I don't want
yeah,
that.
like that's what I mean. And I don't think it's
No.
infatuation. Sometimes it's just like you just overly, I don't know, you gotta find you something to do
Yeah.
outside of that man.
Yeah.
And I think those feelings can feel really intense. Like I'm just so in love and like I just let like, it feels like that, but logically it's like you should not really be all consumed with a
That.
man
Yeah, it
or
seems like you should
any
be
person ever.
right.
Like,
Like, you should be pouring some of that energy into yourself. Again, you're what did I say earlier? Dang, I was about to make a good point and I forgot what I said about, oh, now I gotta about love not completing you.
mm,
Like, you shouldn't be looking for somebody to complete you, and I think that when you are like, "Okay, I'm trying to look for the love I need to be giving myself, I'm looking for that in somebody else," then I think that's where that intensity can become very unhealthy because you're depending on them to show up for you in a way that only you can show up for you.
mhm.
So, yeah. No, that's good. I like that. Okay. How do we tell the difference between real love and just being attached? Because I mean, we just kinda talked about because that is a heavy attachment.
Yeah, like, I feel like it just go back to what I said, like, attachment feels very, like, urgent. I need him, I need him. My whole mood can be thrown off by this person. My mood depends on how they've been acting towards me throughout the day or, like, constantly seeking reassurance or attention. Again, I just feel like real love should feel a little more grounded. You can still care very deeply, but I think you should feel secure and, like, not just, I don't know, just consumed in that way.
Yeah. No, I get what you're saying because with love, you should care really deeply. Like that person
Yeah,
should mean a lot to you and how you make them feel, how they make you feel. That should mean a lot to you. But like you're saying, it should I think is more about like you shouldn't be having such extreme emotions because that person shouldn't be taking you through all that. Like you should know, like that's my person. They're
exactly.
going to show up. I can trust in this person. I can lean on this person. And I also have enough confidence in myself that if they're not showing up that way, that I'ma get to going. Right. Versus
Exactly.
it being so like it's pulling me so much. I think if it's doing that, then it's probably not right. Like
Yeah, it's not healthy.
it's not healthy or you haven't met yourself deeply enough and you probably shouldn't be with somebody
Mhm.
if you're that invested in them. And not even that invested in them, but, that up in
Well,
arms
no,
about them.
yeah, it's
So, yeah, I guess we kinda answered that, like, real love versus attachment. And I think attachment too is infatuation. Like, you could be attached to somebody because you're literally having sex with the person. That can create attachment. And just because that I don't know, there's scientific studies about what's released when you have sex with the person, all that. That does not mean that that's real love because you had sex with a person and now you have some type of soul ties or, bonds or whatever, like, yeah.
Mhm.
So I think that's another good point to bring up.
Hell yeah.
How your past shapes your relationships. Ooh, this might get deep. What did love look like for us growing up? I could take this. I think
Yeah, go
I
for
don't
it.
know, like, it was what love should be, in my opinion. I think we were very blessed with being able to see love right in front of us. Our
Mm,
parents have been together, and we talked about this in our first episode, our entire lives. Like, they were married, they're still married, and, like, they were married before they had us. So, we've seen them, like, love one another and, like we were saying, like, make the choice to love one another, treat each other with kindness and respect and patience and show up for one another, support one another, even when they disagree. Like I personally have never seen our parents get in an unhealthy argument. And I'm 28, Mattia, you're 26. So yeah, like I've never seen
mhm.
them get in a unhealthy argument, even when they're not on the same page. Like again, they show up with that patience for one another and understanding. And I think because of what we saw, like for me, I associated love with presence. Again, showing up, being there. And also again learned that love was unconditional through watching my parents. And I would also just say that love was safe. Like love should be safe. So yeah. What about you?
Yeah, I agree. I thought the question was asking something else, but
Oh,
now I
what did
understand.
love what did you think it was asking?
I thought it just meant, like, when we was dealing with people when we was younger, what did that look like? But I get what you're saying, like, you saying in the
Oh.
home.
What
But
did love
I
look
agree.
like growing up for you? Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I interpreted it a separate way,
Oh,
but do
I
yours.
don't that's why I was like, "I don't know." But,
Oh,
I was gonna make a comment on that because yes, I agree with every single point that you made. But then I was thinking, like, even though that was modeled so beautifully for us, I was making terrible decisions.
boy, me too. Me too. That's a great point because
Terrible.
same.
And I'm trying to figure out, like, what
Mm,
why? Like,
why?
I had the blueprint right there, and
Mhm.
I was still doing BS, like, choosing the most horrible this is not how I grew up. I was not raised this way,
Exactly.
actually.
No, but you know what I think it is, and I think we talked about this on the first episode, but I think I don't wanna say that our parents didn't show us that love had boundaries, but outside of love just between them, right? The love that we saw them show for other people, like whether that was family, friends, whatever. I think the issue and where our, like, savior complexes, the fall in love with potential thing and all that comes from is because they used to put themselves out there for other people so much, especially when people weren't as maybe privileged as we were, like, they always were gonna help somebody, and it could have been, like and I'm not saying they would put themselves in a bad position to, and it wasn't at, like, the expense of us or our family, however, they showed up in major ways for people that they felt like needed it and they felt like they could help. And so I think for me, I know I've always been the helper. Or I really have a soft spot for somebody that I'm like, they have so much potential, but they just didn't have what I had growing up. And so I'm not going to be so hard on them. Instead, I'm going to try to help them and show them and give them what they were missing. And I think it was kinda maybe that's what we something we took from them and start applying in relationships.
Mhm,
And I think that also causes you to end up I don't know. I can explain it better later when we get into some of that, but that's what I think it is. I think it's just that maybe the people that we choose or that we chose were people that we felt needed this help.
mhm,
And I'm not saying everybody that needs help, because everybody needs help. I'm not saying that made them bad people, but it might have meant they weren't on our level otherwise. But instead
mhm,
of us being like, "You know what? You're not on my level or you're not like where I need you to be at," we're gonna help you get there. And it's like, no, that applies
mhm.
and like you should
Yeah,
help people in real life. Like if you have the resources, the ability, the time to pour into people and to, reach back and pull somebody up with you, you should. But in a relationship, it's a little different.
true.
And I don't think anybody ever explained that to us.
That's tea, yeah,
I don't know
that's
if I
tea.
hope that hit how it was supposed
Mm,
to hit, but I it made sense in
it
my
hit me.
head.
If it didn't hit nobody else, it hit me. So, yeah, A plus, A plus, A plus.
But yeah, that's what I think. Cause yeah, baby, we did the stuff that we like the men that I was choosing don't act like my dad at all, not even close.
Yeah,
Like,
like,
not even
my
close.
father would never. Actually, Mark would never act in such goodness, yeah. Let me don't get me started, child.
Yeah, let's move
Anyways.
before we get stuck. Let's talk about whether we think that people subconsciously choose people who are familiar, even if it's unhealthy. I'm gonna say
Yes.
100% yes. We just talked about that. Like what you see in your home, or you pick your mom and dad. Usually, we just said how we didn't, but like
Yeah.
I think the whatever sex, like man or woman, like for a man, I think he ends up picking the woman that reminds him of his mother. And if his mother was toxic and was fighting her husband and showing up like that, might be the woman that he selects. And again, that's unhealthy, but it's familiar. It's what he's associated with love, or like this is what love looks like. So if this person is emulating what I saw as a child growing up, and that is my idea of love, that's all I was shown, then I think that that's what that is. So, yeah, and then I think the
Mhm.
same thing, the reverse with women, like a woman picks her dad usually. Um, so yeah, I do think people pick what's familiar. And it's not even about just like like that's what you know. It's
Yeah,
not even familiarity. Like that's what I know. And if that's what I've been taught that that is, then and I don't have anything telling me or showing me anything different, then
that's true. But sometimes we gotta, get more into unlearning.
yes,
So
100%. No, 100%. I agree. Once you get a certain age, you have to look back at your upbringing and be like, that wasn't right. I don't think that
yeah,
was
like,
supposed to go like that. And try to get away from those things and,
mhm.
make those changes when you raise your kids or in your own life. Be like, I'm not dealing with that. But I think
Exactly.
it takes a long time to get there, right? You gotta be willing to go
It
through
do.
therapy. You gotta be willing to you gotta figure out that it's wrong first. I mean, there's a lot.
This is true, but I just gotta make unlearning more common.
Yeah. No, I agree. Have we noticed ourselves repeating any patterns in relationships?
Yes. I overinvest early.
Ooh, that's a good one.
I'll be giving the most energy, attention, and understanding before somebody has even given me reason to do so. And then I would end
Mm,
up feeling really disappointed when it wasn't reciprocated. But then I'm like,
yeah.
oh, like that wasn't about them as much as it was about me not pacing myself and not letting
Yeah.
people earn access to me over time and show me something that make me even want to, give you that energy or that investment.
Ooh, yeah,
I do
that's
that a lot.
so good. Mattia, why do I feel like you're speaking to me?
Mhm.
I feel that we were doing the same exact things, and I don't even know that we've had a conversation about these things, and so we might need to talk to mom and dad about what how did we get
You know?
here? Because that was something, like, early on, I'm invested, I'm putting myself all the way out there, and you have not done anything to deserve it.
Not
You didn't earn it at all. I'm just out here giving it up, giving it out, like, not literally, like, y'all know, I was
get
being
it
funny.
out.
Yeah, literally just, like but
Giving it
not
out.
that, but my love, I'm just giving it out
No,
freely,
for Hey,
freely.
that really just tickled me. I was like, "That's funny."
No, but that's really how, like, I am with you on that, literally.
Yeah, I just used to be
And it's like, let them show you something first,
I'm
something,
saying, like, they
anything.
ain't done nothing, like, nothing.
Yeah. No, I think that is something that I definitely notice myself doing too. And then we already talked about the potential thing, like always seeing potential, seeing potential, seeing potential
Mhm.
that they couldn't see in themselves. But I also feel like those people, I don't think I used to like I did pick them right eventually, but it wasn't like I was approaching men and like choosing. They would choose me and then I would just, like, end up, "Okay, I think they're attractive, I like them," start talking to them, and it turned to a whole thing, but I don't know, I feel like people was maybe preying on me, like, maybe I looked like one of them innocent people that's gonna sit here and take my time and be nice and deal with your trauma and try to help you, and I don't know, like, so maybe there was something about me that just gave that energy off, and that's why I kept attracting the same type of men, because really, that's what it was, like, I always found myself in that constant pattern of being with people who I felt for and wanted to help, but they were projects. They were never on my level. They didn't have the
Mm.
emotional availability that I needed, and they weren't emotionally intelligent. And I just had always kind of been that way because I was just a lover at heart. I just used to be ready, like,
That's that hit, they a project, yeah, and
yes,
that actually makes
project.
sense, cause that's all I be doing, research projects, like, it's all falling into play right now, I'm starting to understand my lore, like, I just love a research project, that's all it is.
That's crazy. I think it's the savior complexes again, we've talked about those a lot. I think it's that too. Some of us being fulfilled in a relationship is like, okay, were we able to help this person in some way or feeling that responsibility for doing so? And if you don't, if you don't have the ability to do that in a relationship, you might feel like, dang, I'm not as valuable. And that's something we have to figure out within ourselves
Mm.
is why do we feel like our worth is attached to assisting somebody else?
Well, moving on.
A question for therapy, something to explore a little deeper. The other thing, patterns, again, like I said, I didn't necessarily pick these people. I mean, I did eventually, but they sought me out first. But I always liked dudes that was a little rough around the edges, for lack of a better phrase.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mattia and me were different there. That's something you didn't, but me, I
No.
went through a phase. Like I think most women, black women, go through the like hood nigga phase. I think as a young person, like I'm talking young, young. I think we go through
N
that. I don't think
never.
mine, but look, but and mine was never like, oh, I want a hood dude. It was like I wanted a refined hood dude because I think for me, the trait that I was trying to get out was I wanted to feel protected. I wanted to know that if my safety ever became an issue, like this person got me. Like there was just something about that. I just really wanted this level of protection. So I think that's the trait I was associating with. And then I think there's other like I don't know, but I don't know. Point being, y'all, that was a pattern I definitely had, and Mattia can agree. Like yeah, like dudes that was a little rough around the edges. Yeah.
Not a little rough.
Okay, I think that a little rough would be, like, because it was only maybe one individual that I could think of that was actually really, really hood. And
I
Nick's
don't know.
not hood, like, my current boyfriend, he's not hood, but, like,
Yeah, no, he doesn't strike me as such.
what?
But
You
yeah, I
sound like
don't
you
know.
ain't known this man for about almost 5 years. What?
I meant to say he's never striked me as such, but
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know what you were going through, babe. Um,
I don't know, it was a phase or something, I'm not sure.
yeah,
I think it was a like, I don't know, I think I just wanted to feel protected.
and did you end up getting that?
Protection? Yeah, I was always protected, I was never scared. Like, if something would've went down, if something happened, like, I know I'm
Well,
good. That's a really I don't know what it is, like, even to this day, like, if I was dealing with a guy and the guy I was dealing with didn't have a gun, for example, if something was to, like, happen, I would kinda be like, "Mm." But again, I'm not sure what that is, but there yeah,
that's
it sounds bad.
not.
It sounds bad, but,
I mean,
like
yeah, I don't know about that one, but
I think you should know how to use one. 'Cause we could be in any I don't want nobody to just shoot up somewhere, but I'm just saying if it was literally needed, like, because 'cause I'm not gonna be able to do that myself. So, that's why I said I really associate it with protection versus it being hood. Because
okay,
I never wanted a dude that was literally in the streets, like, no. It was always like a maybe somebody who had grew up a certain way or had exposure to that, but they were, again, refined, like, they weren't in it, but that they still had that protective aspect to them and knew how to move and knew how to you know what I'm saying? If something was to happen, but
okay,
that's all.
fair, valid.
I'm feeling very judged right now. I was trying to be honest with the people, but I don't know. I don't think
I'm
Mattia is
letting you tell
getting it.
your story.
I'm just saying I went through a phase. Okay.
Yeah,
Anyways,
that's your truth.
how do we think that our upbringing affected or affects how we handle conflict or closeness?
I'm gonna talk about the closeness part, I think, or no.
Did we talk about the closeness part? Jog my memory. We definitely didn't talk about conflict. I don't think so.
I'm a pretty avoidant person when it comes to conflict. I don't know if I got that from my upbringing though. Maybe.
No, yes, we definitely did.
Oh,
And I don't wanna say, that we saw our parents be avoidant of conflict, but we saw our parents be avoidant emotionally. Like, I could count on one
mm,
hand how many times I done seen mom and dad cry. Well, mom, I've seen her cry more, but I'm
I
saying
definitely see mom cry a
but
good amount of times.
yeah, I mean, a good amount of times, but it still is not like a ton considering we've lived for 26 and 28 years. Dad literally on one hand can count how many times I've seen that man cry.
I don't think I've
So,
ever seen dad cry.
I've seen him cry, I think, like, once or twice.
Oh, I
But,
must not been there.
um, it was more like he'll get choked up and then he'll bring himself back real quick, but, like,
Like
yeah,
I've
like,
never seen a
tears in
tear fall
eyes.
from that man's eye.
Yeah. But, point being, I do think like, that aspect was there, but that again, that doesn't touch conflict. Conflict I am pretty too avoidant with conflict. I don't know though. I'm not gonna say avoidant because I don't have a problem with conflict. Like I don't have a problem expressing how I feel or addressing something. I'm not gonna say I am a confrontational person, but I'm not afraid of confrontation when it's needed, especially not in a relationship. Like if I have a problem, like Nick will tell y'all, if something is bothering me, I'ma say it 100%. But I would say with closeness, I think we grew up very close knit and, like, seeing our parents be close knit, so I don't know, I've always been I don't wanna say like how you said, like, you invest very early on and you're, like, in it and, you're there, you're present, you're giving all the love, like, I think that definitely came from my upbringing because that's how I show up too.
Yeah, I think I think I've changed a little, but that's probably like due to like situations. But now sometimes I just be like, okay, like space,
Right.
space.
Space, yeah. No, that's real.
I need space. Like as I've gotten older, like I feel like damn, like I need a little space, or I just be like, I just don't think I. So I was just talking to my friend the other day, and I was like, I don't know how I feel about a relationship because I just don't wanna have to worry about somebody all the time and somebody just be in my space all the time.
No, I get that.
I just don't like the idea of it.
'Cause you get
I
so used to operating by yourself and just having to
Yeah,
worry
and I
about
think
you, so
that's
it's a
just
lot.
I've been out of a relationship so long now that
Yeah.
I just it's just me and my Jubu, like, it's just us.
Yeah.
So, bringing somebody into that space just kinda feel like, no."
No,
Not for
that's a
too
lot.
long. But, yeah, I agree with you on the emotional avoidance piece for sure. Because I definitely be avoiding conflict, but I do get really overwhelmed very easily, but I just avoid it when I be get overwhelmed. I get mad really quickly and pretty intensely, but I don't it's not gonna be like an outburst type of thing, like, I might just be like, "Ugh," and I'll just go
Yeah.
home and I'll be crashing out in isolation.
Yeah, because we never, but again, we never saw mom and dad literally be going at it or
Mhm.
arguing, yelling at the top of their lungs. Never saw that. So I think, yeah, that makes sense. Because I'm the same way. I definitely can get upset. I'm not going to sit here and scream and yell and all that. I definitely will express something because I think mom and dad were like that. Like if we messed up or something, they were very straightforward about it. But
Mhm.
it's not like, they handled it in a crazy or unhealthy way, so I don't think I handle conflict that way in my relationship, and I really intentionally try not to, like, raise my voice. I definitely don't, like, cuss at my boyfriend when we're discussing something or anything like that. Like, I might call you and be like, "Girl, da-da-da," but, like, I'm not gonna do that, to him, so yeah. I think
Yeah,
that
and I can't say I haven't done that before. So
yeah, I can see you being a little bit more yeah. But, okay, let's move on before you start with me about why I said that.
anyways,
You know. Okay, red flag versus green flags. Ooh, this gonna be good. What is a red flag that you used to ignore but won't anymore? Oof, I know one.
you go first because I'm trying to think.
One red flag for me is if a man has a bad relationship with his mother. I'm sorry. And again, y'all,
That's fair.
I'm very much one of those people, and I said this before. I am not gonna judge. I understand. Like, I feel like I grew up very privileged, so if somebody has a different upbringing than me, I'm not gonna be like, "Oh my gosh, well, because they didn't grow up like me, I can't be with them." However, after I had been in a very, very bad, toxic, emotionally and verbally and mentally abusive situation, I was like, "Yeah, I will never, if a man has a bad relationship with his mother, deal with him. I'm sorry. I feel for you. And I hope that y'all are able to come to a common ground and heal and build that relationship back up. But as for me in my house, I can't.
Listen, I agree with you. I really do. I really, really do. Like, I actually don't even I would agree. But the worst type of nigga be the niggas that have great relationships with their mothers, and they still be dogging people out like bad. And
Yeah,
it's
no,
like
that's terrible. Yeah.
and then some of y'all not let me not say y'all, but like some men, their relationships with their mothers are weird. It's strange.
Yes, and I was gonna say that
And
is the flip side of the
there's
coin,
a
is like,
yeah.
I also would prefer not to have a mama's boy or somebody who is super attached
Yes.
to their mom or she's super involved in our relationship. I would pass,
Yeah.
but I'm just
Yeah.
saying red flag because I feel like a man that has a bad relationship with his mom, I'm not saying that you couldn't be like, I'm sure there are many men out there that don't have a great relationship with their mom and are good men, right? But I'm not gonna stay to find out. That at the beginning is gonna be because I'm telling you, that man dogged me out so bad. He hated his mother. He did not hesitate to express how much he hated his mother, and I felt like he was just taking vengeance on all women. I'm gonna make y'all pay for what she did or didn't do for me. That's what I genuinely felt. And so after that, I'm scared. So I'm good.
And the world is still paying for his mess. To this day. We cannot escape. We cannot get out.
Yeah, he
It's
had
a
issues, y'all. I
it's a
can't do
certain state that's still suffering because he's present. Say it again. I say it's a certain United States that is still suffering every day because his presence is there.
We finna move. Do you
Praying
have a
for
red flag?
praying for them and their safety. Gosh, I don't really know. A red flag that I used to ignore but won't anymore? I don't know if I ever, not like a that was like a really niche one. I want a niche one. I don't have a niche one.
Oh,
I
it
would
could
say
be
like a
something different.
overly lustful negro. I
Oh,
used to
yeah.
ignore that, like, probably when I was, younger, though. Now I can tell it for what it is, but I think, when I was younger, I used to eat stuff like that up. Like, I used to
Really?
yeah, I don't know if it was
I
just,
ain't know. So you
also
was judging me about the, wanting a dude to be protected about it. I'm judging you right now because I ain't go through that. I don't know what
I
you
think I was
talking.
just on some young stuff. When you used to just be on the phone and then they would be like
No, I'm really
like
listening.
when you used to be young and in middle school and you used to be on the phone with your little boo and then you'd be like, "Oh, my legs hurt, my back hurts." They'd be like, "Oh, come give you a massage." Like, I used to eat that. And it's like, no, that's actually not cute at all. But I feel like as children, some of us used to eat that up. It was just like,
Uh,
ew. Now looking back, it's just like, ugh,
in middle school, I
overly
wasn't even
lustful.
thinking about a man, but alright.
Anyways, middle school, high school, whatever. Like, I used to be like the type of the depth of conversations that children was having is what I mean. And I just think sometimes, yeah, people be eating that up, but it's just not. It's a red flag. Overly lustful man is it's a red flag.
Yeah, because he doesn't have any
There's no
control
depth.
or regulation, ability to regulate his lust
Exactly. Yeah, and
or
that's kind of
attraction, so I don't think yeah,
yeah.
that's not good
There's
because
no
that
depth
means he doing
there.
that with everybody probably, number 1. Yeah, so,
Yeah,
yeah. Or regulate his sexual desires or I don't even know how to say, but yeah, no thank you.
yeah.
Hard pass. You need to exercise some self-control. How you gonna lead with no self-control? I would love
Hey, that's a good one. They needed to hear that. They needed to hear that. They need to hear that. I'm telling you. We're gonna have to post that as a clip even if it yeah, that's they need to hear
yeah.
that. Clip that
Okay.
because they
No,
need to hear
but
it.
for real, self-control, discipline, that's all tied to that. If you don't have that, then
Yeah.
what can you do for me?
Nothing.
Nothing at all. Okay, let's talk about why we think people overlook obvious red flags. I would just say I think it's a plethora of things, right? One being, I think some of it is just somebody just doesn't want to see something. It's right there in front of their face. They just don't want to see it. Cause if they do, then they're gonna have to really have a real conversation with themselves and probably end up leaving that person or letting that situation go and they just don't want to do that. Or I think the other thing is you can be too deep into something emotionally or mentally that you can't even see it. And I think a lot of that, I think that's why literally we are advised to not have sex until marriage because I think that that can blur your logic in a lot of situations because you're
Yeah.
so tied to this person, you've been intimate with them, you have this strong connection, and so I think it kinda blinds you in a way, and you can't see things that you otherwise would be able to see, or it could be, like, non-sexual, you might just really be infatuated with the person, like we were talking about earlier, and just so head over heels about them and don't have enough confidence in yourself yet, so you just yeah, you can't even see that stuff. You're just like, "I just want them. I wanna be with them." And then I think the other thing that I would say, the last thing is just I think people, see the red flags and they'll want it to be something different, so they'll think they can, stay and fix and change this person,
Mm,
um and make it so that those red flags are no longer
okay.
there when it's like, "Nah, sis, if it's a red flag,"
Yeah.
they could people and I don't wanna sound negative. I do think people can do the work and people can change. However, y'all, let's be real. It takes a lot for a person to change. It takes a long time. Like, nobody is changing overnight, and for someone to change, they have to see something as a problem and then decide that they are going to remediate said problem, and people just sometimes are not doing that if we're just being real. And then, oh, I had one more thing. I said that was my last thing. The other thing is, I think in the beginning when you're thinking about red flags and what you see, I just think sometimes it's like, okay, you notice it, but you don't really know the depth of it if you haven't really gotten to know that person yet. So you might be like, okay, maybe that's just a little something, maybe it's not that deep. And we kind of give out too much grace sometimes, and we might be like, okay, maybe they just had a bad moment or whatever. Maybe that's not actually a part of their character, and it may end up being. But yeah, those are my 4 answers I think I gave.
Yeah. I have nothing to add, actually. I agree with everything you said. The only thing I would say is the overarching theme of all of that, in my eyes, is that people just really be wanting to be loved, and they
Yeah.
will take whatever they can get. Unfortunately, we are living in a very lonely society, and people is just ignoring stuff. And I just think that's a sign you gotta love yourself more than
More.
that, you know?
Mhm.
'Cause,
Yeah.
like, if people got red flags and you just ignoring that and you don't think you can do better than that,
Yeah.
I think everyone's just really lonely, and we need to reassess that. Everybody just be wanting love a little too much, and I promise you,
Yeah.
some of it's not that worth it. It's not.
No, that's real. Yeah.
So, not at the expense of yourself, at least.
I think that's the common theme too through these questions is love yourself more. Just love yourself more, that's it. What's an underrated green flag that people don't talk about enough?
Ooh, a nigga that read books.
I love that. Somebody always
I
trying to
love
increase
a
their
man that
knowledge.
reads books.
Yep, my
Like, I
boyfriend
love
reads
a
a lot.
nerd. I love a man that keep
Yeah.
up with current events and knows something good. We don't
Yes,
appreciate men like that enough. I love a nerd. What?
yes, an intellectual. Like, I'm
Mhm.
learning from you too, not that
Yes.
I'm the only one that knows something here. That's a problem.
Mhm. I love
No,
that
I
shit.
love that. That's good. I think I would say a good listener. I know that's so cliche, but a good listener, that's something that I think is a really huge green flag people don't talk about enough. And someone who's just always willing to grow and wants to grow
Mhm.
because I think a lot of people be like, "That's just how I am." But
Yeah.
especially men, they're prideful and they can be really stubborn. So sometimes people are just not willing to like look and see, like, okay, I could do better here. I really need to work on this thing, or not ready to admit that because of the pride. But a man who's always trying to become better and is actively working on himself without your push to do so, come on. We love that.
Yeah. Accountability, yeah. Mhm.
Love that. Okay. Do we think that people create red flags out of fear?
Yeah, I be doing that.
Me too.
Me
Me too. Or
I sure do.
maybe not even create it for me, but I will make something bigger than what it
That
is,
it
or like
is, yeah.
hyper focus on it, or just give something too much weight. Like, because I'm kind
Mhm.
of self sabotage. Like, I'm already scared. And so I'm like, something gonna go wrong. So before it can go wrong on me, I'm gonna just say the red flag is the reason why it went wrong. It just go
No,
ahead
I'm
and
doing
save
that.
myself.
I hate to say it, I love to self-sabotage. I do.
That's exactly what it is. It's self
I
sabotage.
do. 'Cause I was just talking
Yes.
to my therapist the other day, and I told her something. I said, "That's weird. Like, he shouldn't be doing that." And she was like, "Mattia, that's actually a good thing." And I was like, "No, it's not. That's weird."
That's so funny.
But yeah, so I definitely be doing that out of fear for sure.
That's funny because my boyfriend and I, y'all just started couples therapy the other week, and that was something like I had brought up something to my therapist about something he did, and she was like, "Yeah, that's really not that big of a deal." She said, "I think you were spiraling mentally and probably thinking about this, but like yeah, it actually isn't
Yeah.
that big of
A
a."
lot of times it really is it's just not that deep. It's just really
And I
not.
was like, "Oh, okay." Okay, we're gonna talk about communication, the make or break of it. Okay. Now, do we think that most people actually know how to communicate or do they just know how to react? Baby, this is a reaction generation, especially these social media babies.
Whew.
React.
Yeah, we're no longer communicating, actually. No one's communicating. Everyone is just reacting to
Yeah.
everything.
And maybe they're communicating, but the communication is not healthy.
Yeah, for sure. Well, then that's not really I mean, yeah, I guess that is the transfer of conversation, but
Yeah, because 'cause I'm like, you could be communicating and screaming and fighting while you're communicating, like, that's a problem, that's not healthy.
yeah,
But
that's
that's also
true.
reactive, that's heavily reactive.
Yeah, so that's
I don't know, but yeah, I don't think people know how to communicate.
at
I don't
all.
even think people know what a, feedback loop is.
Uh,
So, yeah, I don't think people know how to communicate.
easy answer, easy answer.
What's your communication style when you're upset? You kinda touched on this earlier, I think, with your
Yeah, just leave me alone.
face, like yeah. Yeah, that's how I am. I need
Just
a
leave me alone.
moment. I like to step away and come back to the conversation because I know that if I talk to you in my upsetness, I'm making that up, but if I talk to you while I'm upset or emotionally all over the place, then I'm not gonna be coming from a place of logic. It's gonna be straight emotions, and I'm not gonna show up as my best self at that time, and I'm not gonna communicate in a way that I know that I should. So I think my feelings will come out a bit harsh or just wrong. So I prefer
Mhm.
to just take space or a breather or something. I cannot just get upset and immediately communicate or it is gonna be bad. So
Mm.
we're with each other there. I like that. Good job with you.
Uh,
Is it harder to be honest or to be vulnerable? Hmm. In
to be honest,
relationships. Say for me, because I'm just thinking about my relationship now. For me, it's honest. Um,
really?
yeah, I'm thinking about my relationship now, and I'm thinking about other like situationships or talking stages. It was easy for me, like we just said, it was easy for me to put myself all the way out there and be like, oh my gosh, I have feelings for you. I really want to be with you. I feel this way. I like this is how I love and show up giving all that love out. And I feel like that's the vulnerable piece. I think if anything, it's being honest for me and being like, hey, like, this does not make me happy. I don't like this, or I'm feeling unsure right now. Like, I think the honest piece is the issue for me in relationships. I don't have no problem being vulnerable. I think I did have a slight one, like once I got hurt really bad in a previous situation. But yeah, generally speaking, I was always a vulnerable, all the way out there type person.
Yeah, no. I think for me, I think it's usually harder to be vulnerable than to be honest because I think vulnerability adds emotion. Like,
Hmm.
honesty to me is just stating facts.
Right.
Vulnerability is like I'm exposing feelings. So yeah, I mean, I think honesty can definitely be difficult too, but I think vulnerability asks for more self-exposure or self-disclosure.
Hmm.
Versus honesty to me just feel like, okay, I'm just telling you the truth and these are the facts versus like I'm being tender.
Yeah. No, that makes sense, and I think that that makes sense for us. As I think about our personalities, I would see you as having no trouble with honesty, excuse me, but, having trouble with vulnerability, and I could see myself having trouble with the honesty, especially if I felt like it was gonna hurt somebody, but not having trouble with the vulnerability, so
Facts is facts though. Like
yeah, but that doesn't mean they're always easy to communicate. Especially if you're telling somebody like, "Hey," if you were telling somebody, "Hey, I'm not happy," or, "Hey, I am not fulfilled," or, "I don't feel like I'm being fulfilled in this." So, like, in a relationship, that's hard to tell somebody. To me, I don't know.
I feel like I don't know. Is that's kind of like
Or you are pissing me off.
oh, I don't have no trouble saying
I mean,
that.
I don't, but I'm just saying as another example, like,
That's your
sometimes
example of honesty?
yeah,
Oh, okay.
yeah.
Well, then yeah. Yeah, I don't I'll tell people they piss me off every day. I don't
No,
know.
I do too, but I was just giving another example of,
I
yeah,
get what you mean.
like, maybe it's not hard to say, but maybe you don't always say that
I
or
get what you
speak
mean,
up
sister.
in those
I get
situations. So
what you mean. I
I'm
get what you
glad
mean.
that we're here. What does healthy conflict look like? Mm.
You don't know?
No, I do.
Oh.
I was just thinking through what I would say. I think healthy conflict looks like oh, y'all, hold on. I have to reference my notes
Mm,
from Change again
brother.
today because when I tell you he was just he we this is the great episode for us to do today, Mattia, because or this is a great episode for us to do today because he was just talking about this. Yeah, go if you wanna go while I'm referencing my notes.
Well, no, because I would like you to be actively listening while I'm talking.
Mattia is funny, y'all. She's like, "Well, I would like you to be actively listening." Okay, he was talking about Jesus he was talking about Jesus being a man of truth and not being confrontational, but you can't be afraid to confront. He called it a
Mm,
holy disruptor. So you're refusing to settle for false peace, but you speak truth in love. You speak it in a spiritually mature way. You don't do it in a way that's like the opposite of that, right? So the point I was getting to is that I think healthy conflict looks like speaking up when there is a need to speak up, right? If you're really like unhappy in a relationship or if something really bothered you or if it's a heavy point of friction, bringing that to the table and being honest about that because when you don't have those conversations, things build up and then they end up coming out in a bad way. But bringing your issue up in a way that comes from like a loving place, right? Not to shoot the other person down or not to talk about them badly, but to genuinely want to find a resolve and to work with them to get to that resolve. So, like I said, bringing up an issue when it's there, not just brushing it under the rug, bringing it up in a healthy manner, and then approaching this conflict or this issue as a team, like us versus the problem, not you and me versus each other. And
mm.
I think communicating in a very, mature way, not screaming and yelling and doing all that, but genuinely talking to a person and having a conversation. That's what healthy conflict looks like to me.
That was good. Yeah, he said something not last week, but the week before that I would like to reference, but I'll be handwriting my notes. So I don't have my notebook near me, but
Oh,
he it was like perfect for this answer actually, but I forget what the point was.
oh yeah. I don't remember off the top of my head.
Yeah, me neither. It was something along the lines of like disagree, like not disagreeing with respect. I'll just say my own
Yeah.
answer, but I wanted to reference PD, but it's fine. Um, it's fine. But yeah, I think healthy conflict is probably yeah, kind of like you said, like it's more of a disagreement, but respect is still maintained. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
Like,
right,
we're not attacking each other, and like you said, issue is the focus, not
right.
each other.
Yeah.
And I think the goal always has to be like understanding and not winning. Cause
Ooh, that's
I used to
good.
be doing that. I used to be trying to win an argument, like, "No, I'm trying to win." I don't
Mm,
wanna understand nothing you're saying, I just wanna be right. But, yeah, so I
mm,
definitely think that that's what you have
that's
to the end
good.
goal must be understanding.
We're talking about that in therapy too. That's so good. Yes. End goal understanding and listening to understand and not to respond
Look
when
at me
you're
learning
having
from my degree.
oh Jesus.